Should collegiate athletes be paid? Should they be compensated? The big debate. Well, it really doesn't matter what I think because they can be compensated now. I'm going to explain it coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. All right, here's a little bit of a warning. This is not a video about personal finance. There's going to be a little bit of that at the end, but it's really to talk about the kind of the breakthrough case with collegiate sports this year, and the debate is finally over. College athletes can be paid. Now, not exactly, I'm going to explain in just a second. Well, and I guess the debate can rage on as well. Should they be paid? Should they not be paid? What's your opinion? I'd leave it in the comments below. Even though the answer is out there, the Supreme Court made an announcement. Justice Gorsuch, I believe, is the one that read it out, and they basically opened the door for this compensation. And then the attorneys actually felt that the former athletes could have pressed the issue even further and applied more pressure to the NCAA and allowed them to open up more of the rules. So there might still be more legislation and more rulings to come on this. But I'm curious, what are your thoughts? Should collegiate athletes be paid or not? I see both sides of it. They're young individuals. We'll talk about this a little bit in just a moment about their ability to manage money well. But then on the other hand, I mean, they are producing their talent is producing all sorts of revenue for retailers and for food and beverage and for certainly the universities. I mean, so you certainly don't want just these companies and all that making money off of these individuals where they're not able to participate in any of that. So I see both sides. Let me know your side of the story down below. So speaking of the story, Bryce Young, he's the projected #1 quarterback for Alabama, has reportedly already made endorsements of over $1 million. We don't even know. This guy hasn't even started a game yet. Hasn't even started a game. He played in a few last year, projected to be the starter. But listen, that stuff changes all the time, and they're young and they're subject to injuries, and they could struggle. Who knows, right? Who knows? And yet this individual's already made about $1 million, maybe more. What I'm talking about, how could they be paid? It's the name, image, and likeness. That's what they're calling this, name, image, and likeness, NIL. What's that mean? So we've got the definition right here for you. It's an individual's ability to capitalize, to make money on their own fame, their own publicity, and be compensated through endorsements, that sort of stuff. So what's that actually mean? So these student athletes can now receive compensation, be paid for signing autographs, right? Even Johnny Manziel admitted, hey, I've done a lot of that in we know Ohio State players have done a lot of that too. That's right. But they can actually do that legally now. And I don't know about selling trophies and all that, but you'll have to check with Ohio State on that as well. But social media accounts can now be monetized as well. Like I said, signing autographs, even doing endorsement deals for, there's limitations on alcohol and tobacco and those sorts of things depending on the states, but you can sign a deal with a retailer or something like that and be paid. So this is a big deal, basically using your image. And you could argue that retailers and all sorts of folks were making money off of the image and the names of these folks, their popularity, their fame, these college athletes, these student athletes. And now through these direct endorsements, through this landmark ruling, now college athletes can as well. Be interesting to see where this goes. There's all sorts of restrictions on universities. You'd argue that universities make a lot of money and there is no kind of cost sharing from universities. Students get their tuition and in many cases, so not in all cases, but many cases tuition and even room and board fully covered. And so but yet if they pursue this further, if former athletes pursue this further with the NCAA, that even could get challenged, and it's very possible that student athletes could receive a share of jersey sales or share of something else from the university. We'll have to see, more to come. Now, to me, I take this then personal finance. I told you this really wasn't going to be a video much about personal finance. Check out the links below if you're a sports fan like me and you want to read more about this. Some great articles here from ESPN and a few others. So check that out in the details below. But yes, the Wise Money Show is about taking your next wise step in your financial life. So what if you have a young student or a child who possibly could have a future in a sport, and they could receive an endorsement, or they could monetize their social media account, or they're growing in their celebrity, their fame because of highlight reels and social media and all that sort of stuff, and so they could capitalize on some of this. What should you be aware of financially? Well, number one, we say this often, it takes skill and maturity to handle money, okay, to handle money. And at least for me, I got my first job when I was 15, turning 16, almost 16. I'd got my learner's permit, and I do wholeheartedly believe, even with everything kids are juggling these days, there's just something that you learn from being on the job, working hard, doing that grunt work, that sort of stuff. And so, but I would argue that at age 16 or age 17 or at age 18, even 19, 20, that I had the character, the maturity, and the skill to manage a large amount of dollars here. So to me, if that's what it takes, then I would hope that there's a fiduciary involved, someone, a guardian, but also someone that's a fiduciary involved to help manage and oversee the finances that these individuals may make through these endorsement deals, which could be, again, significant sums of money. I think this quarterback from Alabama, I think Nick Saban's the one that said, listen, he's going to make a lot of money already. He's signed endorsement deals that are approaching 7 figures. So that's all we know. So hopefully there are folks like Nick Saban and others in place to give advice and to steward these athletes, and you as well, if you've got a family member where they can hire out or add in that maturity, that character, that skill that they may be lacking themselves. They can hire that out, or they can have someone to help with those sorts of things. To me, I think a certified financial planner, and again, this isn't shameless self-promotion here, but really, like at age 18, 19, 20, I don't know if you've got the character, the skill, and whatever, the maturity to make great decisions financially. You'd have a lot of money, so you can go very fast. You can make lots of big decisions. I've never seen money make someone happy. I've seen it ruin someone. I've seen it make them miserable. When you have a lot of money and not the character and maturity to use it wisely, you can really get yourself into trouble. So a certified financial planner, they're fiduciaries. So they're not just trying to sell you something. They're trying to give you recommendations, give you advice that's in your best interest. So hopefully parents are there, hopefully coaches are there, and hopefully you can work with the right certified financial planner to manage these dollars well. Lots of examples of folks that have done this well at young ages. I think of the Olsen twins from Full House. There's even apparently Daniel Radcliffe, who became famous from the Harry Potter movies, never spent a dime of that money. You've got lots of examples of athletes as well. Football stars who make millions of dollars who say, hey, for our family, we're going to live on $60,000 a year. So great examples of that. It's not the norm. The norm is to make a lot of money and blow a lot of money and potentially have some bad habits. So you'd want to avoid that. The second thing from a personal finance point that I would mention with this name, image, and likeness, the ability for college athletes to be making money now, is taxes. Taxes, that's right. When you start getting paid, you now have to start claiming that as income. There is some rules right now, depending on the school and the type of of scholarship that you're getting, athletic scholarship, whatever, that sometimes, in many cases, give a full ride scholarship that's not taxable, okay? And so there are ways around that. In other circumstances, the tuition is not taxable, the tuition scholarship, but room and board would be taxable, but there are some ways around that as well if it's structured correctly by the university. But there's no way around these endorsement deals or monetizing your YouTube account or your social media account. There's no way around that. That's taxable income. And so there could be ways to shelter this if you set up, because in this name, image, and likeness ruling, these players are allowed to start their own businesses now. And so you could start a business, have all your endorsements and everything paid into that, and then pay yourself a salary out of that and receive profits from that. So work with the certified financial planner, work with the CPA to see, well, are there ways around or to manage some of the tax liability, and then make sure there's no tax surprise, right? So tax planning is all about two different things. Avoiding tax surprises, which I think a lot of young student athletes will realize when and if they get endorsement deals. So avoid surprises, that's the number one goal. And the second is capture opportunities. Identify opportunities and capture opportunities to improve your tax situation, pay the least amount of tax over your life. That would certainly be applicable to these young student athletes. Both of those ideas, the personal planning application, so having the right skill and character, maturity to manage the money, as well as taking a planning approach for your taxes, whether you're a collegiate athlete or not, those are still very, very, very foundational to your overall financial life. So work with a certified financial planner on those items and more. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can find one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well. Or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.